brainwave.com today.
What if your brain isn't broken? Join Dr. Tim Royer for a free workshop on June 12th, live at Verdict Ridge Country Club, or online June 17th to learn how brainwave training can restore focus and energy. RSVP at reclaimyourbrain.today and get a free book.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Good morning. I am Commissioner Edwin Quarles, and I want to welcome you to be with us this morning at Thrive here live in the town of Huntersville. Again, as I say, I am Commissioner Edwin Quarles with the town of Huntersville. This morning I have with me Miss Aurrita Payne with Unity in Community and Mr. John Foster.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, John?
I'm doing great.
Okay. Why are you doing great?
The weekend was very good. When you drive in and weather we have today, it's tough not to be doing great.
Yeah. Do anything exciting this weekend?
No, this was a fairly soft weekend for us. We did spend some time in the plaza area uptown exploring a new restaurant that we had not been to before. But this was really a low-key weekend for us. Watch basketball on TV.
Okay. Are you a foodie, John? Because every time we talk, you're going to a different restaurant.
I don't necessarily classify myself as a foodie. My daughter is a foodie, but we do have some interesting restaurants that we enjoy going to. And there's probably another two couples that we spend lots of time together exploring various restaurants.
Okay. Aurrita, how was your weekend?
It was great, Edwin.
Good. Sit back and relax.
Okay,
Just
okay.
let yourself, let your hair down. Yeah, let you relax. We're gonna have fun on this show. That's what it's all about. Is
Yes,
to
sir.
relax. I know you're probably nervous. Your first time on the radio. You got your listeners and your viewers out there.
Mhm.
You have the Aurrita fan club watching you this
Yeah.
morning. So
Hopefully.
well, what we want to do then, I hope a lot of people are watching because we want to make sure that we have the highest ratings of the town officials.
Absolutely.
We have a
Absolutely.
battle going on.
Okay.
So what I want to do is make sure that I can run my mouth and share as much as we possibly can so people can be knowledgeable about everything that we have on our shows. Now, what did you do this weekend?
Well, I ran into you,
You sure did.
right?
Yes.
Saturday, we were in the Pottstown community for their 49th Spring Festival. And it was an awesome turnout for them. And Friday night, I went to a storytelling about Pottstown that
Excellent.
was in conjunction with Miss B.J. Caldwell. Shout out to Miss B.J. Caldwell and the Huntersville Rec department. And it was a great storytelling event.
That's awesome. Now, when I saw you on Saturday at the Pottstown event, you were at the Ada Jenkins table.
Yep.
And while we were there, no one stopped by to inquire about Ada Jenkins while I was there. Did you get any visitation, or was it busy? Was it still very slow?
It was very slow, but we did get some people to come over. And Ada Jenkins has a lot of resources for our community. And Pottstown is one of our historically Black communities that we support. And so anytime that we have an opportunity to show up for them, we will. So it was great to see the young people, to see the not so young people there, and everything in between. The food was good, the music was good, and it was just good fun and fellowship.
Yeah, I had a wonderful time out there, running my mouth, going to the various tents with the different vendors. It was very well organized.
Yeah.
I think one thing we can do next year is spread the word more,
Yeah,
get more
definitely.
engaged with the various churches in the Lake Norman area.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it was a great event.
Yeah, it was.
You mentioned Ada Jenkins, and you say some people came by and you have a lot of resources. I know we're going to get into some Juneteenth during this session. We're going to talk about unity in the community. We're going to talk about Foster's frame and art. But tell us a little bit about Ada Jenkins.
Well, most everyone knows about Ada Jenkins, right? When you think about Ada Jenkins, you think about when you need help in the community. We provide financial assistance. We provide LearnWorks, which is a tutoring and after-school program. We also have summer camp. There's a myriad of things that we offer for our community. We also are one of the quarterbacks, as They like to call us for the United Way. So we do support historically Black and mostly Hispanic neighborhoods like Davidson West, like Smithfield community, the Smithfield community, like the Pottstown community, like East Catawba and Huntington Green. So we are out in the community. We're sharing our resources and just helping those individuals that need a little extra helping hand. And so it is, I've only been on this job for 4 months, but it is the best job that I've ever had. And it just fits who I am. And also this is where I grew up at. So it feels like home, me coming home and helping the people that I know and love.
Well, speaking of home, John, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Texas, but before I get into answer your next question, I served on the board of directors for Mooresville Lake Norman United Way for, well, I guess probably 6 years.
Okay.
And Ada Jenkins was one of our favorite clients that we worked with and everything else. So got a chance to spend quite a bit of time over there. And obviously, it's a great organization.
It is.
Have not been involved with you guys recently, but over the years, really got engaged in helping provide services for Ada Jenkins.
Well, come on up back, Mr. Foster. We need you.
Before we get back to where he's from originally, I truly believe that Mr. John Foster should be an elected official. He is so engaged in many of our nonprofit organizations. He's extremely knowledgeable of not just Huntersville, but Cornelius, Davidson, the entire Lake Norman area.
Yeah.
John also at one time served on the Lake Norman Chamber Board. So this guy, he's very diverse. He's very knowledgeable. We try to talk every Monday.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So that's my source of information right
Well,
there.
can I say something?
Absolutely.
This is my first time meeting Mr. Foster, but his reputation preceded him. And I know that he is a pillar in the community. So it's an honor to sit across from you today.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. So where are you from originally, John?
I'm originally from a small country town in East Texas called Hillister, Texas. One notable person that lived in Hillister, Texas, played in the NBA, a guy named Zelmo Beatty. But small town, very rural, and it's still the same way today. Grew up on a dirt road. They finally got it paved. And from there, I went to high school in Woodville, Texas, which is about 13 miles from where I grew up. And from there to college at Prairie View, and lived in Houston, and eventually worked my way to the Southeast.
Well, as we move further into this discussion this morning, I definitely wanted you on this set because we're going to talk Juneteenth, but we're going to talk about how Juneteenth and Texas both tie into each other, because that history is so impactful. I think a lot of people need to know all of they can about Juneteenth, and Texas, of all places, is I think, Texas, it is amazing. Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit back and we're going to enjoy and work on our next set of questions. Next session be so relaxed. We just kick back. See how John is chilled right there? He's an expert at this. Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into a commercial break. We've got to pay some bills.
Okay.
So you out there in listening land, we'll be right back with Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, if you haven't been able to tell, summertime has really returned with the heat and humidity and the pop-up storm chance pretty much each afternoon. That's not going to change. Kicking off a new work week, we're hot, but a little less humid. Temperature soaring to the upper 80s, near 90 for the afternoon. We'll watch for a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms late afternoon into the evening. Tuesday, once again, mid-80s and a few pop-up storms. That pattern continues for a good chunk of the work week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Nina's Boutique,
Here's your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville presents live music with Breaking Point Band on Saturday at 6 p.m. On Sunday, it is Birdies, Beer, and Burgers for Father's Day. Visit the 500 Club online for more information. Golfing and fun are at the 500 Club this weekend. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is at Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 3 on Tuesday, June 17th. Head to Gate 4 at the Speedway for their weekly promotion. Dress up in Western gear on June 17th and get $5 off admission pricing. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information. It's time to celebrate you on the Home Ad Show. Call in and tell us your birthday or anniversary, and we'll add your name to the daily prize wheel. Each day, someone wins a fun prize, but on Fridays, one lucky winner will be drawn for a very special prize, 2 tickets to the legendary Peabo Bryson live in concert. He is bringing his Golden Touch Tour to Mooresville this Saturday. Doors open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. at 161 South Magnolia Street. So if it's your special day or someone you love, call in and get your name on the wheel. This incredible night of soulful music is brought to you by the Town of Mooresville. Don't miss your chance to see Peabo Bryson. The Exchange Club of Mooresville presents the annual Field of Flags, July 2nd through the 5th at Lowe's YMCA. The field commemorates our veterans, service members, and first responders. The summer celebration featuring a ceremony, a concert by area favorite Blue Monday, and fireworks will be held on July 3rd. Flags are on sale now. Visit MooresvilleLKNExchange.org to make your purchase. For more information about the Field of Flags and the summer celebration, July 3rd at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Swing for Hope at the Next Chapter Station Golf Classic on September 22nd at the 500 Club in Statesville to help bring hope and comfort to children fighting cancer. Your support helps us deliver the book Luke and the Lost Bell to 1,000 hospitals. For more information, visit nextchapterstation.org.
Your pet called. They want to move in with us. Come see why at Dry Pond Animal Hospital and Pet Resort, where medical care, spa treatments, and cozy resort stays are all in one tail-wagging spot. Visit drypondanimal.com, where pets come to thrive.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Welcome back from the commercial break. Again, I'm Commissioner Edwin Quarles. Welcome to Thrive here live in the Town of Huntersville. As we have with us today, we have Miss Aurrita Payne with Unity and Community, and Mr. John Foster with Foster's Frame and Art. In the last section, we were talking about where Mr. Foster is from, and we said Texas, and we're going to tie into a little bit of this Juneteenth that we have here. As I walked into the studio, Justin, the owner of the station, said, "Oh, you have your shirt on," but I have on my Black Wall Street shirt. I want to apologize for not putting my Juneteenth shirt on today, but my wife didn't pull my clothes out for me. So
Don't blame Sherry.
Well, speaking of Sherry, John, Sherry and Aurrita went to high school together.
Wow.
And they were best friends.
We were best friends.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah, she's a
That's
good best friend, too.
Yes, yes. So, Juneteenth. Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day or Emancipation Day, is a federal holiday in the United States that commemorates the announcement of the abolition of slavery in Texas on June 19th, 1865. This significant date represents the effective end of slavery in the United States and has become a symbol of African American freedom and achievement. Understanding Juneteenth requires exploring its historical roots, cultural significance, and modern-day relevance in American society. You know, it is sad that we're in a time where people want to take history out of the school books. Juneteenth being a national holiday, just like President's Day is. Give me your thoughts on wanting to take Juneteenth or Black or just history alone out of the history books.
It's crazy to me that that narrative is being pushed because if it wasn't for Black people, enslaved people, this country wouldn't be what it is today. It was on the backs of my ancestors, our ancestors, that this country was built. It was because of the blood that was shed for this country that this country exists, that it is one of the greatest countries in this world. So that is American history. So how are you going to erase that when that is American history?
Yeah. John, you have any thoughts on that?
Well, she took part of my speech. So true. People back in Texas will probably tell you Juneteenth. Well, back when I was coming up, we recognized the date. Now, what we call it was the 19th of June. People, African Americans in East Texas, coming up to that 19th of June, and also knowing that the 4th of July was coming up in front of that, if they could take off and be off a date, they preferred to be off for the 19th of June. 19th of June, when I was coming up from a little kid all the way through college, was the time when we got together, barbecue, go to the creeks, the parks, the lakes, and everything else, and spent time. We recognized it even before America began to recognize it. Not going to say that other states did not, but we looked at it as being the 19th of June, and it was a day to celebrate. And totally agree with you on what you said, and I have some notes here that America would not be what it is today if it was not for African Americans. It's no way that America could have built the structure and the wealth and all what we have here if it had not been for us.
Yeah.
One thing, and I know I'm going to run out of time, one thing that people don't understand is that when African Americans were purchased and brought from the various places in Africa, it was done in a systematic way.
Yeah.
They needed certain skill sets, and they were looking for Africans and tribes that provide those certain skill sets in order to do what they needed to do to build this country. And until we face up to that, we're always going to have a problem in America. And I don't think there's anger. I know it's no anger on my part, and I think most African Americans has no anger there. I think it's just something that we would like to make sure that we are recognized for what we really have done and what we still do even to today. One last thing to add to
Take
that.
your time. We have plenty of time.
If you have not been to Charleston to visit the new International African American Museum, that's a must visit. It really helped bring you to date on really what we did contributed, how we were able to build dams, how we knew how to cultivate land, just the things that we were able to do and brought in the story that museum tell. You can't do it in one day. You can get started in one day, but to really digest it, you really need to do the museum at least 2 or 3 times. But it's a must visit if you have not already been there, and recommend to your friends to go. But for some reason, America is always trying, we see it today, is always trying to minimize what has happened and what we have done in the past. There's a number of books out there, what I call must-read books, and we can talk about that later on, that really will help tell the story.
Yeah. I definitely agree, especially. I just want people, and Juneteenth is not just for Black people.
True.
It's not a Black holiday.
Very true.
It is an American holiday. I want people to understand Juneteenth represents Black people, enslaved people, not being seen as property. We were not seen as human. We were seen as property.
Wow.
And yeah, it's declared our freedom, but that was a myth, right?
It was.
I think it's Martin Luther King that says, "Until we won't be free until we all free."
Yeah.
Right. And so, but what it was a myth. It was a hope for us that now that we have our chance, that. But what's not talked about is the inequality that how people saw us, our cultural, our culture, our how they treated us socially, how our safety, how they killed us. Those things still happen after Juneteenth, right? And so, I want people to really understand that it's just not a black holiday.
I'm glad you said that. I caught some flack some months ago. We have a group of people that want to pass a certain ordinance.
Mhm.
And I said something so similar to what you said from the dais. And it started with, don't bring up certain ordinance or protection of certain classes if you aren't willing to have the critical conversation. Many of my friends are white. I'm just a very diverse. I have a big diversity of my friendship. I don't see colors. I see the conversation. I see the relationships. But I have some that can't handle the critical conversation. And I brought up about, you mentioned we're not free until we're all free. Excuse me. Red line districts. And this morning, I can show you a text that I sent to someone this morning. I got upset. And it just happened suddenly. I was fixing a cup of coffee and I thought about Juneteenth. I thought about Black Wall Street, red line districts, and segregation. Like, oh, wow, it just happened to hit me, just like if arthritis hit you. But then I went on with my day. So you're right. It is a tough conversation to have. And I think until we all can handle that conversation, we probably will never see the advancement that we all want as a people. I don't believe in that no one should be discriminated against. So very good points. And John, you mentioned the museum. Have you visited the museum in Washington, D.C.?
Unfortunately, I have not. It's on our to-do list, and it seems like we keep getting diverted away and just have not had a chance to make it up there. Familiar with some of the exhibits that's on display there, but have not had a chance to make it to that particular one.
Yeah. Excuse me. We've taken our children there just for that exposure. We have not gone to the one in South Carolina, but Washington, D.C. was amazing. That is another museum that you're not going to be able to visit an entire museum in one day. It's impossible. Now, you can walk through, but you're not going to enjoy or go there to learn. And you mentioned that Juneteenth is not just a Black thing. I really enjoyed my time at the museum in Washington, D.C. because there probably was more white people crying than Black people because they saw what these people went through. I saw shackles, probably the size of my fist, much smaller than that because the baby's wrist, but they shackle newborn babies and things of that nature. So it was just tough to see. And again, I'm so happy that we have Juneteenth. I'm glad President Biden made it a national holiday. Yes. But in Texas, they had it as a state holiday before it became a national holiday. And that is very impressive. So again, I knew having John on here, we're going to get some history that we just don't know about, we don't talk about. And again, the man is so powerful as far as knowledge. You're always going to learn something around John Foster. Yeah. I mean, so if you want to learn something, you go to John Foster. And I hope you guys, after this, just keep in contact because I think you all are a good bond, a good blend together as far as our community. So I enjoy it. But what we're going to do now, we're going to take another commercial break. Again, I want Justin to make sure these bills are paid because this is an awesome station here. So we'll be right back after this commercial with Thrive Here Live in Huntersville.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, if you haven't been able to tell, summertime has really returned with the heat and humidity and the pop-up storm chance pretty much each afternoon. That's not going to change. Kicking off a new work week, we're hot but a little less humid. Temperature soaring to the upper 80s, near 90 for the afternoon. We'll watch for a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms late afternoon into the evening. Tuesday, once again, mid-80s and a few pop-up storms. That pattern continues for a good chunk of the work week. That's your forecast. The WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
For 42 years, Johnson's Parts and Supply has been your Auto Plus auto parts store. When you need auto parts, think Johnson's Parts and Supply. Your Auto Plus auto parts store, 1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
Inspire your team and gallop to greatness. Our horses at Willow Equine are outstanding at working with people on leadership and team building skills, perfect for corporate retreats. Visit willowequine.com as you gallop to greatness.
From math to military prep, Huntington Learning Center in Huntersville has you covered. K through 8 summer programs get $600 off for 30 hours and $900 off for 45, offering military test prep for future heroes too. Visit huntingtonhelps.com.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Make a splash this summer with the Harbor Hippos. Opening day is May 30th, and it's going to be a blast. Season, group, or single tickets are now available. Join us at Huntersville Athletic Park. Get all the details at www.harborhippos.com. It's time to play ball.
Have you taken the Desco Challenge? The people have spoken. Desco is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
Hi, my name is Randy. I'm a general contractor, and I always trust the products at Desco.
See for yourself at DescoInc.com.
Nothing but the best talk.
The area's best talk.
WSIC.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Recent readings of inflation have showed some easing of prices on groceries, but a fresh warning today is coming from the people behind one kind of grocery in particular. The trade group Consumer Brands Association tells Dow Jones that the Trump administration's new tariff hike from 25 to 50% on imported steel could force the prices of canned foods higher. U.S. production of canned specialized to carry foods has been scaled back in recent years, meaning the capacity isn't there to onshore much of the work. Higher tariffs on imported equipment, along with scaled-back government incentives and high interest rates, are getting the blame for the decision by big solar company SunNova to file for bankruptcy. SunNova plans to sell, in its words, all or potentially all of its assets and wind down its operations. Hope for some kind of progress in U.S.-China trade talks today is helping lift Wall Street a little. Dow is losing nearly 0.5%. NASDAQ, though, gaining 0.5%. S&P 500 up roughly 0.1%. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
No radio? No worries.
Just ask Alexa to play WSIC.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Welcome back to Thrive Here Live in the Town of Huntersville. I am Commissioner Edwin Quarles, and who we have with us today is we have Miss Aurrita Payne with Unity and Community. We also have Mr. John Foster with Foster's Art and Frame. In the last segment, we started to talk about Juneteenth and the critical conversations, which is always a tough thing to do, is to have a critical conversation. That's part of management, though. When you get into management classes, how do you have a critical conversation? And I really enjoyed that last segment. John, you mentioned some books in the last segment. Share with us some of the books that you would recommend or must read for the listening audience, as well as Aurrita and myself.
Well, Aurrita kind of started the conversation a few minutes ago. But, America today, and unfortunately, we're seeing it today, is trying to be destroyed, not necessarily representative out there, but the knowledge to read and to understand history is critical. And I really recommend to our readers to get books that deal with where America came from in our books. And read. There was one book talking about redlining, The Color of Law, by Rothstein, I believe it is.
Richard Rothstein.
Richard Rothstein. It is a must-read book to talk about what happened in America just for African Americans being able to buy real estate or buy land or get financing for it. So that is a must-read book. You have your T-shirt on there. Most people, until the last few years, and many people still don't know about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The travesty that happened there is beyond imagination. There's one book called The Blood at the Root. No, that's not the one. The one there's a African American book on women on Tulsa.
Okay.
A must read book. There are several books and everything else, but what happened in Tulsa in 1921 is beyond imagination, and there's a loss of wealth that's denied African Americans today in Tulsa because of a massacre, and not only just land that was lost, but also because of the number of people that was killed and psychologically destroyed. Forsyth County, Georgia, blood at the root. Same situation between 1912 and 1921, 22. How blacks was completely ran out of the county. And until recently, there was no blacks lived in Forsyth County, Georgia. Because of a situation that happened there. Same thing here in North Carolina. The Wilmington Lie. And you say, Wilmington Lie, what happened there? Well, 1898 to about 1900, again, African Americans in Wilmington really was the power structure of that city. But again, because the election and African Americans got elected into position, the whites felt like that it's too much and that they need to feel like put us in our place.
Yeah.
And the ones that was killed and destroyed and just ran out of town was beyond imagination. And Wilmington today could be much more than what it is today. But African American left the area. So I tell our readers, really read the history of America.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna pass it on. When you think about, we came here on boats, could not read, could not speak our language and everything else. For us to be able to learn to read and to write and be in a foreign country, in a foreign land, and be able to grasp what we had to grasp in order to survive, and what we have learned to do is beyond imagination.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Knowledge is key.
Absolutely.
And knowledge is power.
And not only, if I can, Edwin, not only read, but one of the things I learned Friday night is storytelling. We have to sit down with people like Mr. Foster, like B.J. Caldwell, like Ruby Houston and Davidson West. We have to sit down with these people and get our stories, because when they're gone, our story, is gone with them. All that knowledge and wisdom is gone with them. So take time to sit down and have conversations and get the story so we can pass it on from generation to generation, because they're trying to wipe us out.
Yeah, one thing I can say and add on to passing it on, generations being lost, is back in the days, our grandparents used to farm and can.
Yeah.
And those generations, they're gone. And I don't know anything about farming. I tried to plant some tomatoes. I didn't do a good job planting tomatoes. And they were already with the stems up. So I did a bad job with that. And then for the young ladies to learn how to can. So again, I think, knowledge is key. If, as John was saying, if we can read and learn this stuff and pass on to generations, that'll be powerful. And speaking of knowledge, I know we know that, but so many people do not know that there are two Juneteenth flags. There is the red, white, and blue flag, and then there's the red, black, and green flag. Although both flags act as symbols of pride and freedom for Black people, the Juneteenth flag was initially created to honor the holiday, whereas Pan-African flag can be used in any number of ways, representing all of Black people dispersed across the globe. Do either of you have a preference of the flag? Which one, if you had to put a flag right here, which one would you grab first?
That's a tough question. I probably would look at the one to represent our country, even though I do recognize that for as Africans and African Americans, we were systematically dropped off up and down various other countries from Central America right on up. So when you think about, we talk about the United States of America, but we have a great history, in especially when you think about it from North America to South America. So both is very important. But I probably would, because I'm here, would honor the one that was designed for the United States.
And being from Texas, a lot of people don't know that star is not the Texas star, but that star is a symbol of where Juneteenth, where the slaves were like, hey, we're free. Being in Texas, so they made sure that was part of it. And then how you have the ark that's in all those have meanings to it. Again, as we said earlier, knowledge is key. There's so much. If you look at that flag, it looks pretty plain or vanilla, but there's a lot of symbols and meanings in that red, white, and blue flag.
Edwin, something else, being from Texas, and Texas is unusual state, and I shake my head about some things that happen in Texas today, but which most people don't realize it. HBCUs in this country is critical.
Yes,
they got to survive. The third largest HBCU in the country is from Texas. Prairie View A&M University is, that's where I went to school. Was founded on a plantation, and most people don't realize that today Prairie View probably have more land than any other HBCU, and really probably as much or more than many of the non-HBCU. But Prairie View sits on over 1,500 acres of land from this Alta Vista plantation that was there when slavery was ended in Texas and everything else, and just what they have been able to do at that school and represent us as African American from a plantation up to now is just truly amazing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, me either.
Wow, pretty good. Which flag would you put?
I don't have a preference, but if I had to choose, it would be the one that was created for Juneteenth, because I am an American.
Amen. That's it. That's awesome.
This is my home. This is my country. So for people who want to say, go back to your country, I'm in my country.
Good deal.
I've never visited Africa. I do want to go back and see where it was all started, as we call the motherland. But this is my country, and my people built this country.
You mentioned bloodshed, and I'm glad you both said that you would choose the red, white, and blue flag, because now I can go to a different side on the other flag.
Okay.
And so let's chat about the colors. We know that you mentioned bloodshed earlier. So red represents the bloodshed and the fight for liberation and freedom. The black in the other flag symbolizes the black people of African descent and their identity. And the green represents natural resources and fertility of Africa. So we know we have those three, and we're going to come back here in a few, talk about those colors. Little trivia, not trivia, little fun, trick stuff with the colors, because we don't want this to be too intense. I said we're going to have fun. I know it's a critical conversation. I enjoy it. I love this. But knowledge is key. So when we come back after the commercial break, we're going to just have some fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've already gotten relaxed. You're doing a great job.
Thank
I'm so
you,
proud
Edwin.
of you.
You are too.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. Again, pay those bills. And we'll be right back with Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, if you haven't been able to tell, summertime has really returned with the heat and humidity and the pop-up storm chance pretty much each afternoon. That's not going to change. Kicking off a new work week, we're hot but a little less humid. Temperature soaring to the upper 80s, near 90 for the afternoon. We'll watch for a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms late afternoon into the evening. Tuesday, once again, mid-80s and a few pop-up storms. That pattern continues for a good chunk of the work week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville presents live music with Breaking Point Band on Saturday at 6 p.m. On Sunday, it is birdies, beer, and burgers for Father's Day. Visit the 500 Club online for more information. Golfing and fun are at the 500 Club this weekend. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is at Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 3 on Tuesday, June 17th. Head to Gate 4 at the Speedway for their weekly promotion. Dress up in Western gear on June 17th and get $5 off admission pricing. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information. It's time to celebrate you on the Home Ad Show. Call in and tell us your birthday or anniversary, and we'll add your name to the daily prize wheel. Each day, someone wins a fun prize, but on Fridays, one lucky winner will be drawn for a very special prize, 2 tickets to the legendary Peebo Bryson live in concert. He is bringing his Golden Touch Tour to Mooresville this Saturday. Doors open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. at 161 South Magnolia Street. So if it's your special day or someone you love, call in and get your name on the wheel. This incredible night of soulful music is brought to you by the town of Mooresville. Don't miss your chance to see Peebo Bryson. The Exchange Club of Mooresville presents the annual Field of Flags, July 2nd through the 5th at Lowe's YMCA. The field commemorates our veterans, service members, and first responders. The summer celebration featuring a ceremony, a concert by area favorite Blue Monday, and fireworks will be held on July 3rd. Flags are on sale now. Visit MooresvilleLKNExchange.org to make your purchase. For more information about the Field of Flags and the summer celebration, July 3rd at Lowe's YMCA in Mooresville. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
All right, welcome back. We're Thrive Here Live in the Town of Huntersville. I am Commissioner Edwin Quarles and have special guests this morning. I have Miss Aurrita Payne with Unity and Community, and we have Mr. John Foster with Foster's Frame and Art. So again, I don't know what I'm thinking right now, but we had some really good off-air conversations. The last segment was phenomenal, but we were joking, and we're not joking, we're going to start having fun. But we talked about the 3 colors in the other flag, the red, black, and the green. We know we cannot have a favorite of either because the powerful meaning of each of those colors. But pretend those 3 colors are food. And you put on your plate one of those colors. You're at a cookout, and all those 3 colors is a food. Which one of those colors are you going to pick up first, and why? Aurrita, I'm going to start with you.
It will have to be the red.
Okay.
Simply the blood.
Yes.
And I can go to church with you, but but the blood, I have the blood of my ancestors in my body.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
And I try to represent them every day. They did well by us, and I'm trying to keep that going.
I love that.
Yeah.
John?
Well, that's a tough question because all 3 is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about red, but I said black because, again, when you think about it, and tell me what the black represent again.
Yeah, black symbolizes black people of African descent and their identity.
Okay. When I really think about many things that we have in America and in the world today, we had it in Africa, and we were able to bring that same culture to the U.S. and develop it. And much of our country survives today because we were able to raise, grow sugarcane, rice, potatoes, just the things that we brought from Africa that America did not know about, and knowing what type of soil, what type of land or water, or how to irrigate land or whatever and everything else. So again, go back again today. America would not be what it is today if it was not for slavery from Africa and African Americans.
Yeah, I would pick red, similar to you, Aurrita. I'm just such a family guy. I'm so deep into family, and my ways are old ways. My grandmother, I act like my grandmother. She did a great job raising me, and I just look at the blood.
Yeah.
Now, I could go to church with you also.
Come on.
Matter of fact, I stood behind the pulpit on yesterday at my church, and I was blessed and fortunate to give the commencement speech for the 2025 graduates. And it was phenomenal. I've never had that opportunity, but oh man, I can give you a sermon though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I can say is the blood still works.
It still works. That's right. Aurrita, you wear a lot of hats. You're also the president of Unity in Community.
Yeah.
Please tell the audience, what is Unity in Community?
Well, first of all, Unity in Community is my family.
That's it.
So,
Am I part of your family?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Edwin is on the board of Unity and Community North Mac. And our mission is to foster true diversity, equity, and inclusion in the North Mecklenburg area, in the towns of Huntersville, Cornelius, and Davidson.
Yeah.
And we do that through engagement. We have small groups where people of all backgrounds, different race, gender, abilities, we all get together once a month and we have conversations and we build friendships, relationships. And then we have our large group meetings where we meet quarterly and we bring in speakers on various topics and things of that nature. We're actually having our large group meeting this month, June 28th, at Davidson United Methodist Church's chapels. So please come out June 28th. So we do it through engagement. We do it through education. You talked about The Color of Law. The reason why I know about that book is because we did a book study on that book. And so we studied the untold history of America. And then we do it through advocacy. We advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves. And we take up issues. One big issue that's in the news right now is immigration.
Yeah.
You know, you will see Unity and Community at protests. You will see us calling our senators and our local state and local representatives about bills that they should or should not pass. And then we do it through collaboration, through partnerships. Partnerships like Ada Jenkins, like the Smithfield Community Coalition, different other Davidson United Methodist Church, all these Brownicity. We do it through collaboration. So that is what Unity and Community is. It is a phenomenal organization, grassroots. It was birthed out of the Charlottesville incident where there was a prayer gathering, and there were some white people that realized that they don't have friends that don't look like them. And so they made it their purpose to go out and find those people, and Unity and Community was birthed. So shout out to Pam Jones, who I took the helm
Wonderful
from.
lady.
A lot of people know Pam, and so and she did a great job leading this organization. And so I've had the pleasure of doing it for 2 years now.
Speaking of Pam Jones, I tell anyone that in addition to John Foster, I would not be the elected official I am today because I would not have ran if it wasn't for Pam Jones and John Foster.
Mm-hmm.
That's how these gaps of just wonderful people that have been in my life that have led the path that I'm walking on right now.
Absolutely.
You made a comment about Davidson United Methodist, and you mentioned Brownicity. I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you about the diversity of Unity and Community because what many don't know is there's not many people in that wonderful organization that look like you and I, which is very powerful. Very, very good point. Now, can anyone get involved?
Absolutely. Anyone can get involved. and we encourage that, even of all political backgrounds, nationalities. That's what diversity is all about. Diversity is just not black and white. That's the narrative people are pushing.
Absolutely.
It's not about that.
Yes.
It's about race. It's about gender. It's about religion, your ability, age. It's everything. And equity means, giving help, support to those that make sure everybody can succeed. And sometimes that means giving more support to somebody that doesn't have what others have. And then inclusion, we include everybody.
Yeah.
We want everybody to feel valued. We want everybody to be seen and to be heard. So yes, anybody can join Unity and Community. Like I said, we're having a large group meeting June 28th at 10 o'clock. Come and join us and see what we're all about. We're having Reverend Joel Simpson and Reverend Dr. Hannah Broom, who were in Washington, D.C. Moral Monday, and they were arrested for praying. And so we're talking about how to protest safely.
Amen.
So,
That's good.
Yep. So come.
John, I want to talk about Foster's frame in the art gallery. If I was a customer who came into your store and I wanted to purchase something that complement Juneteenth, is there one piece of art or painting that you would take me to?
Over the years, I've had any number of pieces that would do that. Right now, we have a series of works by two brothers. They go by the pen name of the twins. Their name is Jerry and Terry Lynn. They was raised in Metro Memphis, Tennessee. One live in L.A. Now, and one live in Dallas. But they get together various times and paint, and they do paintings together.
Mm-hmm.
They did a series, I guess, about a year ago, a series of 5 pieces of work, and the work depicts how they remember growing up in the country in Tennessee, picking pulling tobacco. So that would probably be one that stood out most of all for me right now. Would be one of the works by the twins. But we have a number of other pieces of work that I think would be perfect to depict Juneteenth.
Okay.
A piece that I don't have at the store, which unfortunately you have not seen, is a piece that we just purchased. Is a piece that I had commissioned of Harry Tubman.
Oh, wow.
A very interesting piece. And most people don't, you say Harry Tubman, most people don't know who Harry Tubman was. But man, she was a force.
Yeah. We have about 30 seconds coming up here. So really fast, how are you going to be celebrating Juneteenth?
I had not really just thought about it, but there'll probably be some cooking out.
Aurrita?
Hey, listen, please come June 19th to Ada Jenkins for our Juneteenth celebration, Hardship and Harmony. We will do a simulated van tour of the historically Black neighborhoods that we support. So please come out Juneteenth.
That's awesome. I want to thank both you, Aurrita and John, for joining me today as my special guest on Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville. So again, this is going to end our show. Again, thank you so much for those who joined us, and have a great day.